much like the rest of this project, this was not fun. Oh, and I've got Sikaflex all over everything because I can't get it off my hands. Please excuse how squinty I am. It's a sunny day in Michigan after winter, so I'm out here with my mole person eyes trying to cope with it. Anyways, I am clearly on the roof up here trying to get started on my roof rack that will support my solar. I don't know how far I'm gonna get with this today, but I guess we'll see. I've cut the framework for the roof rack. I'm using that superstrut. So I'm dropping that off hopefully Monday up at the powder coating place. Once that's powder coated, I can install the solar and cut what will hopefully be the last hole in my roof forever. I have been sitting here trying to noodle out the solar panels. So I guess let me start at the beginning. So these side rails, when I put this top thing on, these screws will go through this with the washers to clamp down the roof rails on the sides of the van going lengthwise. Okay, cool. So then laying across that, I will have an additional piece of unistrut. Well, actually this is superstrut, but same difference. Additional piece of this extruded metal running across it like this. So the question has now become, since I am not using these this way as they are intended, where I would have all kinds of space on the outside, like if this is looking down on it and the solar panel is sitting here, I won't have all that space on the outside to attach this down like this. Because I need the superstrut running underneath the panel because of the size of the panel and the space I have between the fan, because I didn't plan well. So far what I've done is I measured the distance between the total distance I need for my solar panels and the rails, the cross rails. I put this mark there to note where that needs to go. And then I've slid these anchor points into the rail. So these are just, it's a steel piece with these ridges that will grab onto the rail when there's pressure on it and it's pulled up with a bolt. These will grip so they won't slide or go anywhere. And these just slide in. Oh my gosh, slide in. And then those are where I will put bolts through to mount the cross rails. The other thing I'm doing is, these are the mounts from Unaka. Oh, Unaka Gear Company. And they come in two pieces. So this first piece slides over the mount here. And then the second piece has these rubber pieces on the bottom to protect the van. And then this slides right over top like this. And then when I put the bolts in, this will lift up, this will push down, and it'll clamp it to the roof. So I am situating those on all of the anchor points. I'm really lucky. The ProMaster, to my knowledge, is the only van that comes already with these anchor points. I think for the Sprinter and the Ford van, you have to melt out those little plugs and then it's a threaded hole. So you have to mount whatever. But this way I don't have to open up any new holes in my van, which I think we've established is kind of my new purpose in life, is to not put any more holes in this thing. So yeah, I'm gonna get these all set up. I'm going to loosely affix the crossbars to it. And then what I need to do is take, not the crossbars, the rails. And then I need to take the crossbars and loosely put these on, and then I need to get a solar panel up here just to make sure that my spacing is in fact correct. If it is correct, I will then go through, I'll disassemble everything, and then I will use some Loctite to actually crank the bolts down. And then I will maybe start with my solar panels. I haven't decided. To do that though, I'm gonna need to drill a hole, and I need the Sikaflex to cure, and I need to figure out how to heat the Sikaflex to do that. So I guess that's a bridge I'll cross in a bit. Okay guys, so I am just wrapping up my second trip of the day to Lumberjack because I needed fender washers for the roof rack assembly. So got those. I also got some paint because I ran out of white paint, and I figured as long as I'm here. So now I'm heading back to the house to hopefully finish the roof rack and maybe finish the solar. I don't know, it's only 2:30. I might be able to do both. Okay, so I have got a 3/8 bolt with a lock washer, a regular washer, and then a flat washer feeding into one of, well, this one is broken, but one of these underneath. So these little ridges will grab. And then I've also got it coated with the Loctite. So that seems super sturdy. Okay, you guys, it is 4 hours later. I've only done 3 panels. Yeah, I will check back in when I'm not so frustrated. This has not been fun. I do, however, have 1, 2, 3 solar panels done. And yeah, 3 solar panels done. I just got to get that one done. I also have to get that disconnected from where it is because it won't come off. Okay guys, it is the next day. I am rested but sore, and I am trying to get up there to attach my last panel. I'm just hanging out over here up on the roof. The challenge with this is that the last one needs to be installed here. So for me to get at this front bar where it needs to attach, I don't know how the hell I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna do that. Oh, I can do it with the ladder. Okay, I have a better idea of how I'm gonna do that. But I need to get up there and mark where I need to put my little spring-loaded guys. And then I need to place the spring-loaded guys. I need to wire everything together and then secure the panel down. After that, I'm gonna use the template that I cut for my floor, that big cardboard piece that I've been hauling around for 6 months since I finished the floor. I'm gonna put that up there to cover the panel so they are not generating power while I'm working with the electronics in here. At least that's the plan. I really hope this goes quicker than yesterday did, you guys, because I am exhausted. Oh, you prick and a half, I swear to God. I knew this was going too smoothly. Well, true to form with this project, it was going really smoothly. I got the front panels both attached, and then got as far as this one. But over here, the bracket has these little nubbins that stick down. You can see this one right here. The other one is over here and is lining up with this channel, which means that this won't sit flush, so I can't get this to sit all the way down. So now I need to unattach the whole panel, detach this, and shift it over so that that's not hitting right there anymore. So that's fun. Also, I got myself pretty good. I don't know on what, but that's how you bandage, right? Panels are in. I've got this cardboard up here to help cover it when I have to work with the electronics, but all the panels are in. I have got, okay, so I've got these running through. Here's my positive line with the inline fuse. That runs to the positive in on this panel. The negative runs to the positive on this panel. The negative on this panel runs to the positive there. The negative on that panel runs to the positive here, and then that negative swoops back around and is this cord here. I've got them both running. Oh my God, did I really do this backwards? I did it backwards, fuck it. Okay, this is, I'm not kidding you, the 4th time I've run this cord. I ran it the first time and hadn't put the box on. I ran it the 2nd time because it had a knot in it I needed to undo. And I just ran it again because my little flangey thing was backwards. So, oh my God. Running this through here. Also, because I'm not maintaining this, it's knocking stuff down in there. Hot mess. Awesome. Okay, so I've got the butyl tape on all of this. I've siliconed these. And now okay, it's a hot mess, like a total hot mess, but I've got it sealed. I use just a little spit on my finger to tap these down. And here we are. Awesome. So I think I'm done on the roof. There's Sikaflex on my face, which I guess isn't shocking. But I think I'm done on the roof. I am going to cover up the solar panels, and then I am going to start wiring them down inside. Okay, so I have fed the cables down through the wall, around over here. They're looped in. I'm going to pin them up under that and over here. Cool. So now I've got the positive marked with red. Now I'm going to attach them to the breaker here and then feed them out and connect them to the solar charger. Also, the Sikaflex won't come off my hands, so, or my face. So that's charming. Okay, much like the rest of this project, this was not fun. Oh, and I've got Sikaflex all over everything because I can't get it off my hands. Anyways, excuse the electrical tape holding this up. I need to get something to prop it from the inside. But I just turned the system on. I'm gonna see, please don't freak out. On. I'm getting charged, you guys. I'm getting charged. Oh my God. So when I flipped the switch, it went from saying nighttime, it had the moon, which means you're not getting any solar, to now it's charging my battery. I don't have any load on right now. I guess. But it's charging the battery. Okay, this is exciting. Oh my God. Okay, I need to adjust what kind of battery it says. Okay. Guys, when I tell you I'm terrified to drive, I haven't driven Walter since I put the roof rack on. And part of me is a little bit afraid that all of my solar panels are just gonna go flying off the roof when I go over like 20 miles an hour. So I guess we'll see. Okay. Doing 40 and it doesn't sound awful yet. Okay, I made it to the grocery store without incident. I'm gonna call that a big win. Here's hoping I make it home and soon I can unclench driving around. I did this same thing. Okay, you're just stopping. I did this same thing when I installed the the Max Air fan for like the first week. Anytime I drove anywhere, I was like, okay, you're not gonna rip out of the ceiling, right? So, granted, this is a much bigger, and it was a bigger pain in the ass project, but here's hoping that I've done it correctly and I can just kind of forget they're up there. Okay, you guys, so as you can probably tell from the video, this was not my favorite project. I'm trying to be as transparent as possible. So I guess I just will be and say this was probably the only project so far that I have actively disliked. I think it has to do with two things. First, it was so fiddly, you guys, to get, first of all, those little spring nuts to be in the right spot, but specifically where I have those two panels overlapping, there's no way to get underneath to access that spring nut. So when I have a panel coming in and a panel coming in from this way, there's no way to reach around that crossbar to get to. Even the wiring itself was way more difficult than the rest of the wiring. The actual act of doing it was the same. It was the same process, you know, cut, strip, crimp, clamp, whatever, you know, whatever. But because of the gauge of that wire and because of the rigidity of the cables that are sent by Renogy, I don't know why they were different than the ones that I was getting from like the marine supply store, but they just didn't have any bend to them and they were such a thick gauge. So to get them to work around was just awful. And plus, just, we know I'm not an super accurate person. I think we've established that so far. So having to work with basically exact right angles the entire time because it's metal and it has to be squared and it's, you know, it's very rigid. Obviously, that's not going to be a place I shine. Overall, I will say I am glad it's done. Yeah, that's all I got. I'm glad it's done. There was also just like a week, over several weeks, of me just sitting here with that superstrut in the apartment trying to figure out how everything was going to attach. So yeah, I still think I did it in the best way possible. It was just still infuriating. Anyways, so I talked through the cost of the whole electronic system in my video about the electronic system install. So I'm not gonna go into that again. The solar panels were included in that, so if you're curious about that, I will link it here somewhere. The cost that I'm going to discuss today does not include the solar panels because those were a part of the whole electronic system because they are part of the electronic system. So it is all of the superstrut, it is all of the spring nuts that I purchased, those plastic slider nuts that you saw that I used to attach the crossbars. It is all of the bolts, washers, lock washers, nuts, Loctite, and the powder coating. The powder coating was for sure the most expensive part of this project. If you cut that out, you could easily do this for probably under $100, if I'm being honest. And if also you had a plan for the hardware that you need and purchased only that hardware and not all of the hardware like some people did. Okay, you guys, forgive the terrible video quality I am recording on my laptop while I am editing. I was watching the playback of my cost breakdown, and I was like, that really doesn't seem right. It didn't seem right as I said it. It was not right. So, I don't have my fancy piece of paper is going a little far. I don't have my little piece of paper to tell you guys, so I'm just going to like pop the numbers in over here. So, the total for the roof rack project, excluding the solar panels, like I said, is $583.19. So if you took out all of the extra crud I bought as far as hardware and the powder coating, you could very easily do this roof rack for under $400. So yes, total for the roof rack, $583.19. The total for the van build is $7,979.72, and that brings us to 36 weeks or 8 months. I have had a few questions about why I'm continuing to do the time breakdown, because it's not like I'm one of those people who's getting this done in like 30 days or less or something like that. Really, this is for the people who are working and continuing with their lives and want to get a realistic expectation of how long this takes. So I am by no means not living my life. I am still taking weekends to go to concerts and go out of town. I'm still running around with my friends. I still have, you know, the everyday expenses of an adult life. So I'm just keeping it in there so that you can see what it looks like for someone who is still working full-time, maintaining their 9 to 5, and getting this done mainly on weekends. All right, so that is another video done. Next up, I am finally getting to start on the interior. So stay tuned because it's gonna start taking shape so soon, you guys. I'm really excited. So thank you guys so much for being here. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow along, leave me a comment if you have a question or just something you wanna talk about, and I will see you next time. Thanks, guys.
Hello world, wake me up to another good morning, time to go.